Hello, I am here with Greg Miller. Did I say that right?
That's right.
Okay, Greg Miller. He is a personal friend of Ray Bradbury, who passed away in
June.
June, okay. So I just want to hear a little bit of your connection with Ray Bradbury.
Sure. Well, I knew him starting in 1996 when I was 17. By 2003, I was visiting him at his house in Los Angeles, and we got to be very close. I'd talk on the phone with him every week and email him several times a week, and he read and critiqued my stories.
That's
and
great.
So it was a great friendship, and it was something very special, and I think I was very fortunate to have that in my life. And between then and when he passed away, I went out there 32 times to see him in Los Angeles, and
wow.
And it was very special to have him in my life like that, as a friend
like
and a mentor.
mentor.
I think it's very prescient. I think a lot of the things that Ray talked about in the book back in 1953 have come to pass. He saw it in his lifetime with the Walkman and the earbuds, and now we see it with Bluetooth and virtual reality. Well, now we have reality television, faster cars, faster ads, bigger everything, faster everything. Just a glut of information, and a lot of it's really not that important. And so I think the message of the book was to find what's important, to slow down, smell the roses, appreciate the world around you, not be caught up in what other people tell you to think, but really to stop and individualize yourself and take advantage of the best that culture has to offer. So I think it's a universally relevant book no matter where you're from or when. Yeah, he wrote it when McCarthy was just coming to power, and he was making a lot of trouble for a lot of creative people. He based a lot of his outrage on the footage that he would see of the Nazi book burnings, and also the plunder of the Library of Alexandria in Egypt. There were several of them, and then it became immediately relevant with the McCarthy era. You know, when people were having their phones tapped and being blacklisted for individual thought.
Right.
And that's not something that goes away. It just takes a different form, with every generation. And so now, well, you're never going to lose all the knowledge, with electronic publishing and things like that. But in some countries, they block the internet. In some countries, they take certain search words off Google. So this never goes away. This just takes a different form. And what's great is that the books are basically metaphors for knowledge. And so anytime knowledge is threatened, this book has a place. Well, Ray loved theater for decades and decades, last 40, 50 years of his life. I mean, he started to get more and more involved in theater and adapting his work to theater and adapting his work to television. It allowed there's an immediacy, in theatrical productions that, and an organicness to it. People could adapt things. He could change things if he wanted to focus on certain different elements of the book. The book is set in stone. The book is published. The book is what it is. And he changed as he got older, and he came up with new ideas and new angles, to talk about. And so he, instead of rewriting the book, he went and he added those scenes and those ideas into different versions of the play. So that's one of the wonderful things that a play allows him to do.
Do you know how many versions? Because we were talking earlier about there are so many different drafts.
Yes.
And that really took me. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And his process as a writer, not only as an author but as a playwright. So do you know how many versions he went through, or?
There were a number. He started tinkering with versions of it very early on. And every time it was produced, he would tweak it a little bit, and it was produced an awful lot through his own guidance in Los Angeles and San Fernando Valley, and so up until the very last performance during his lifetime, which would have been in about 2009, there were changes being made, so it was something that allowed him to tweak his interests and to tweak his beliefs and to come up with new things and focus on new things that he hadn't thought about before.
Cool.
And I think that, with Ray gone now for almost 4 months, this is the sort of thing that, he always said he was going to try to live forever. And every time he put a new story in the mail, he said, well, I'm one up on death now. I'm one up on death. It's that much more. And so, that's because these are the things that last. These are the things that survive. And so every time a production is put on of one of his works or someone picks up one of his books, there he is.
Yeah,
so
true.
So that's special as well.
His words, his knowledge, his thoughts really do live on.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.